What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Saga. I've been in a crapshoot. I know it said in a video when I was talking about the future of the channel, we're going to branch out and cover different games. And mainly what I had in mind was Cyberpunk at the moment. But the Palworld official card game is coming out in July. And while I have no plans to cover that game in any competitive fashion, or buy a whole bunch of product, my kids and I do enjoy the video game. So I am planning on buying starter decks and maybe a box or two because I know my kids are going to want to play it. They're already asking me about it. They're digging the artwork reveal so far. So I will be playing the game. I don't really plan on covering it on the channel at this point. But last week, the YouTube channel put out a how to play video. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch it and I am going to react to that video. So I'm going to share the screen here and we're going to watch, and I'll pause and give thoughts as we go here. So there's a 50 card main deck. It includes your pals or units, events, gear cards such as weapons and upgrades, and structure cards. There is a separate soul deck, which is 10 cards. Now, this is not a new mechanic. This has been done in other games. One Piece, I know, has a separate Dawn deck, and I know there's other games that have used separate resource systems outside of cards you can find in your deck. I know, like Dragon Ball uses energy. One Piece uses the Dawn. Star Wars Unlimited uses resources that are played from cards in your deck. So, just another way to avoid the potential mana screw that comes with having dedicated resource cards in your deck. I know the goal in Palworld is to reduce your opponent's life to 0. Uh, this appears to be above where the players are placing their main deck. It appears to be a life counter, and it looks like it's starting on 10. So I don't know if this is how it's going to be written in tournament rules or game rules, but it says whoever wins goes first. It doesn't say whoever wins has the option to go first. They just say whoever wins goes first. So the player that loses the roll off puts one soul card in their soul area already. So it appears they are starting the game basically at +1 resource from player 1. Drawing 5 cards from the top. You can mulligan once. It's a full mulligan. Put all 5 back. Shuffle the deck. Draw a new 5. So up here it has a flow of the game. So stand phase, draw phase, soul phase, main phase, end phase. The first player says they're skipping the draw phase and going directly to the soul phase. So player one doesn't get to draw a card on the first turn and starts down -1 resource. So you go 2 resources per turn. So you're starting at 2. So on turn 5, you'll have 10 resources. And then player 2 is always going to have +1 until they hit turn 5. And then they're only playing once. One soul to get to 10. So you play 2 per turn, going to 10. I'm curious to see how this affects the game flow in that the curve making the cost curve of cards and how that goes with the resources based on getting 2 per turn. I feel like they can be a little more aggressive with how abilities work. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. Going 2 resources per turn versus like one, like Dragon Ball. You can play an energy turn. Star Wars Unlimited, you add 1. You start with 2, but then you add 1 resource per turn. In Cyberpunk, you start with your legends in play, which all count as resources, and then you can sell a card to go to your Eddie's area. So that's 1 per turn, but you start with 3 basically. So this is +2 every turn. It's interesting. Seems a little aggressive with how you can ramp through to get to endgame. Cost is top left. They're calling their exhausting mechanic resting. So you're going to rest 2 soul to pay the cost of the card. Interesting to note here, units do not appear to have summoning sickness. They both played this card this turn and now are attacking the same turn. So they're dealing 1 damage to the player. The player will discard cards. It said 1 at a time. So the damage was for 1, so they'll discard 1 card. And it says the damage is canceled if a lucky pal with a lucky icon is revealed from the deck. So there's certain cards in your deck, they're going to have a symbol that if you discard them, negate the damage that would be dealt to you. No lucky icon. So dealing damage to the player both mills the deck and deals life damage. So there's a separate life counter to track your life, but then when you're dealt damage, you have to discard cards from the top of your deck equal to the damage. It's interesting. Second player's drawing a card. Soul's going up by 2. Paying 2 for a land ball. Now we're going to see unit combat. So the land ball is going to attack the Kativa. It says only POWs that are resting can be attacked. So any unit that is ready or standing cannot be attacked by your opponent's units. Only your exhausted or rested ones can. So there's another damage value on these cards. There is the strike value, which is how much damage you deal to the player, and there is a power value, which is damage dealt to other units or to structures. In combat, they deal damage equal to their power, and high power wins. Kativa is defeated because it was dealt more damage than it has power. So there's semi-persistent damage. In games like Star Wars Unlimited with health and power values, the damage is tracked and persistent throughout the game until that card is removed from play. In Palworld, it says the damage taken by POWs. So like the land ball was dealt 200 by the Kativa, so it has 100 power left. If it took 100 power damage in this turn yet, it would be defeated. However, it resets at the end of the turn, so then now on the opponent's turn, it would reset and be 300. I know that's how Final Fantasy TCG works, and I'm sure there's other games that do that. Turns over. It's got one standing, or one floating, however you want to call it. Stand phase. Readying everything or standing it up. Drawing a card. Rolling a gig. Kidding. Adding 2 souls. Paying 4 for a Fox Sparks. And it's going to attack the player for 2. So it said, when you're attacked, you are able to play quick cards, in what I'm guessing is going to be some sort of defense step. So they're playing the Pangolin with the Interrupt ability, which is a quick card. Paying the 1 cost with the 1 floating they had. Using the Interrupt of the Pangolin. And by using the Interrupt, it nullifies the attack. And that's it for player 1. Dude's going to stand all his stuff back up. He's going to add 2 souls to his soul area, so he'll have 5 resources available to him after he draws a card. He's going to play a structure card. Paying 1 for the furnace. And you can assign pals to work at the structures, just like in the video game. So they're going to rest the land ball and assign it to the furnace. The structure cards have abilities that trigger when a PAL is assigned to them. So they're going to activate the ability from the land ball being assigned to work. And the furnace lets you draw a card. You can have any number of structures on your base. Paying 4 for a single shot rifle. Oh, Primitive Furnace has an ability that reduces the cost of gear by 2, so that rifle's only going to cost 2. So on deploy is when played or when enters, whatever, however you want to say that. But on deploy, it's going to do 1,000 damage to an opposing PAL. So they're going to deal 1,000 damage to Fox Sparks, which I'm almost positive will defeat it. Two souls remaining. Going to play something else. Paying 2 for a Chicopee. Player 2, I would say, just from looking at this, has a very advantageous board state versus his opponent. Standing pals can block attacks, so they're going to leave it as a... So it said standing pals can block attacks, so he's going to leave it standing so he can block an attack. So I guess that means there's no designated blockers, and you just have to have a ready unit if you want to be able to block an attack. I'm sure we'll see what that looks like. Drawing a card, then they're going to add 2 souls. So during the main phase, you can perform actions in any order. And you can jump back and forth. You can attack. So the main phase, there's a bunch of stuff listed you can do, but playing cards, triggering effects, attacking, and it doesn't look like there's a separate attack phase, so I would imagine you can attack. You could play a card, attack, then maybe if that triggered something, play another card with a kicker. So it appears that there's not a separate attack phase from the main phase. I know there's some games that have a main phase, an attack or combat phase, and then they'll sometimes have a second main phase. Palworld just has one main phase, and you can do whatever you want within it. It seems like as long as you have the cost to pay for what you want to do. Playing Chickpea. Gonna attack the player for a strike of 1. So he's gonna discard a card for the damage check. So he flipped a card, didn't have a lucky trigger, so it just went in the graveyard. Oh, now they're playing a land ball. Pals are getting crazy over here. Okay, so they're attacking with the second unit they played, and he's gonna block with the ready Chickapee. So I'm guessing the chickpea will defeat it because it's going to have a lower. If power levels are tied, both units are defeated. Playing a Kativa. Attacking the player for one with Kativa. Getting tired. Okay, so we flipped a Yormantide Ignis, and that has the lucky symbol. So that negates the damage. Flip card goes in the graveyard, but he doesn't lose any life points because the lucky card was discarded during the damage check. So that seems pretty basic. It's kind of what I expected. I knew there was going to be a separate soul deck. Some things that I know that they didn't cover in this video is there are team attacking and team blocking, so you can use multiple pals on an attack, like to defeat another player's units, and you can also team block, if you would want to, try to overpower again an opponent's unit that's attacking. So I think the game looks okay. I have reservations about it. It's a Bushiroad game, which I know they make other games. And like I said, me and the kids have been enjoying the video game, but I still have some reservations about the game, and I think it's mainly because it's going from video game to card game. And I know like Cyberpunk was a video game, but like that was a tabletop RPG. There was other card games already. This, I know I'm definitely going to play and have fun with the kids, and it seems easy to play, easy to learn. I like how they tried to fit some stuff from the game with like the structures and assigning pals and like how you do that in the game. I think that translates pretty well to in the card game. But other than that, I mean, it was a card game. It has attacking, it has blocking. Kind of interesting. There's no dedicated blockers. Um, yeah, and attackers can choose what they want to attack, and then uh, you get the chance to respond with blocking with any pal that's standing up. I don't know how I feel. The thing that I guess I don't know about the most is when taking damage, you're tracking it both on your life counter and by discarding cards from the top of your deck. I know there's lots of games where when you are dealt damage, like in so we'll say Final Fantasy TCG, when you're dealt damage, you remove the top card of your deck and it goes to like a separate zone where you move where your life damage has gone. And then if a card has an EX burst on it, you can trigger that card's effect. I don't know why you couldn't, since you're discarding cards anyway, one at a time for the strike value, you just move that to a life area like in Final Fantasy, and then if you have the lucky icon, well then you don't discard any more cards, or you can put that card at the bottom of your deck or something instead of going to the damaged life area. So that one kind of having to milling yourself for dealing damage on and also still tracking life separately is just a little perplexing. But other than that, it looks fine. The artwork I know is all newly commissioned hand or illustrated artwork for the game, and all of it looks really cool. I know the kids are excited for it, so let me know what you think. Are you guys interested in the Palworld card game at all? It's coming out July 30th. Are your stores going to be playing it? What do you think of how the game flow works? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for checking this one out. And yeah, thanks for stopping by.